welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Rachel and I'm a fashion reseller over on Poshmark and Mercari. And today I'm going to do just another video where I'm just kind of chit-chatting with you guys. As you can see, I'm not in my normal filming space. I'm just in front of my computer right now. But I wanted to talk to you guys about branding because until now, so I've been reselling for 2 years now, and until now, or like a month ago, I didn't know what branding was. So I'm going to hopefully make this video to help you guys understand what branding is, and hopefully you'll understand it before 2 years, because that's literally how long it took me to understand. And I kept hearing about branding, and I kept hearing other resellers talk about how important branding is, and I just didn't get it. And then a light bulb just went off about a month ago. And I'll tell you what happened. So I was scrolling through Poshmark, and I do a lot of shopping on Poshmark. I not only sell, but I do shop on Poshmark, as I'm sure many resellers do. And I was looking for something for the kids for back to school, and I'm scrolling through and I come upon a picture, and just based on the picture that this particular reseller had, I knew exactly who she was. That is what branding is, okay? So what that means, and I'll kind of talk about her picture, what stood out. So her background was something I recognized. Her mannequin was something I recognized. And the angle at which she took her photos is something I recognized. And I was right. I immediately clicked on it, and sure enough, it was her. So what that means, and we're going to talk about, kind of go in detail about what that means, is you need to be consistent when you are on the platform. And what that means is, I'll give an example, because this has happened to me on Instagram. So on Instagram, I don't know people's names as much as I know their photos. So when I'm going to tag people or mention someone, I'm actually looking for their photos. And I can't be the only one that does this, because that's what I do. I'm looking for their logo or their photo to tag them in something. Because people have names that have underscores and have different things in their title, like an exclamation point or something like that. So that's what I do. I look for people's photos, and that is how I tag them. If you're constantly changing your profile picture, I can't find you. And I'm probably not going to tag you in something because I can't find you. And then I'm like, well, shoot, what was her name? And like scrolling through the Instagram feed trying to find you. So what that means is, when you make your profile picture, and another thing to back up my theory is Empty Hanger. If you don't know who Empty Hanger is, she is a wonderful resource for reselling. She makes, I think, over 6 figures reselling. She has been doing it for like 5 or 6 years, maybe longer, but her profile picture has stayed the same over the like last 2.5 years that I followed her. So I don't know if before that she had the same one, but she has always had the same profile picture on all of her platforms, on her Poshmark, on her YouTube, and on her Instagram. So that proves that that's your brand, okay? So especially those of you that are thinking about getting started in reselling. I'm all over the place with this video, so I apologize. But this is just my train of thought as it comes to reselling and branding. So when I've had people ask me when they're getting started some like tips and advice, and my number one piece of advice is you want to find a name that is unique, and you want to make sure that that name is available on all of the platforms. For instance, for instance, I have a Twitter account that is not the same as my other handles. So on Poshmark, Instagram, and YouTube, all of my handles is The Scott Cottage. That was not available on Twitter. Now, I don't use Twitter at all, so I didn't care as much. It's just Cottage Scott, I think, on there. But I just don't use Twitter. I probably should use it more often, but I wasn't as worried about that name not matching. However, if you're going to be a reseller and you're going to be on Instagram, you need to make sure that you have the same, because, and I've seen this happen many times too, where people start out and they have their just their regular Instagram, like their personal, and then they have their Poshmark, and then they go to change their regular Instagram to their new name. You lose a whole lot of followers by doing that, because they don't know where you went. Like, they don't know which account you are. Okay, so that's the first thing that you need to do when you are thinking about reselling, is trying to find a name that is on all of the platforms and that is available, because it's really confusing when you say follow someone on Instagram and they're like, hey, come and shop my Poshmark closet, and their name on Instagram is like PoshGirl1, and then their name on Poshmark is like Closet 82. So it's just really confusing and it's hard to follow when you're not the same. So that would be my number one piece of advice when you're thinking about reselling, is coming up with a name that's unique and a name that is available on all of the platforms that you plan on using. The next thing you need to do is come up with a professional photo. I've seen a lot of people do like those cartoon ones, which are super cute. So I've seen those. I actually had some professional photos done a little over a year ago, I think. So I just used those, and I have stuck with that profile picture the entire time that I have been reselling. And like I said, it just makes it easier for people to notice you. Number 3. When you are listing and photographing, you want to be consistent. And that is something I have struggled with, because I'm constantly changing like my background. And well, I'm not as much now because of branding, and it makes sense now. Like, it didn't make sense before, so I was all over the place with my photos. I was doing like flat lays with a completely different background. Well, that's not helping my business, because people are just going to scroll through. They're not going to realize who it is that's posting. So now I do all of my photos back there, even my flat lays. I set up a little, it's that thing, I don't know if you can see it. I set that up with something on top of it, and I still have the brick background. Now, I really like using stock photos, because it shows how certain items fit, especially pants. Pants just, no matter how you hang them or lay them, they just don't look right. So I really do like to find stock photos. But if I can't, I do always have all of my photos with the same background. And something I usually do is I do a collage of like a blouse or pants side by side, so people can see both the back and the front. I haven't done it with everything, like sweaters and bulky things. It's really hard for you to do side by side without cutting off part of the sweater. But I'll give you a little bit of advice with that. I go on Facebook a lot and ask my personal friends questions about Poshmark. So I went on there and I said, this is picture A and this is picture B. Which one looks better? And picture A had just a regular photo of the mannequin with the shirt on, and picture 2 had a collage of both the front and the back. And something one of my friends mentioned on there, which was kind of like a light bulb, is she said, I wouldn't have even clicked on the first photo because I didn't see the back. A lot of times the back of the blouse has a little bit more going on, is more interesting. Like, for example, this one, see how this front is just a V-neck, but the back has this really pretty crisscross. You want to market that part of the shirt. So putting things side by side, especially when the back has something interesting going on, has really helped me personally. Keep in mind, these are all just personal experience in my opinion. I'm not asking you to change your business completely. I'm just telling you what has maybe worked for me might could work for you as well. So then again, you want to be consistent with your photos. You want to take photos that all have the same background. So that's definitely something I have been working on. I am still not 100% on the backgrounds. But let me show you. Yeah, see, I still have some of my old stuff. I'm going to kind of turn this around, okay? Okay, hopefully I won't be too wobbly on this, and hopefully you can see. But so I have a lot of photos. So here's an example of the side-by-side photo that I'm talking about. So you see how it kind of shows both sides of the shirt, but then when I come down in here, I have just the front. Now, I will say this is going to add time onto your listing process for you to collage this. It's not a lot of time, but it does definitely add some time. So let's kind of look. So this is the background that I was using before. As you can see, it's not centered. This is one of my first things that I listed. It's not centered. And my background, look, it's brick and then it has wood. So, like, look. So that doesn't look good to me in my opinion, just because of the contrast. So like I said, I'm kind of working on getting everything to be the same. But there's kind of some collages, and there is kind of another example. I did add a necklace because I thought that looked pretty, but side by side, and then as you scroll through, I have that. Another thing that I've done is I have upgraded my mannequin. This mannequin, because of the writing, and it may even show on this. From far away, you can see that there's the writing through this. This cardigan is somewhat sheer. And on certain items, it almost looked like there was stains on my item. So as you can imagine, maybe a darker color, you would just see these darker spots on the shirt. And I learned pretty quickly that I did not like that. So I upgraded and just got an all white mannequin, I guess is what she is. Here she is right here. This is Manny the mannequin. So once again, side-by-side collage. It's just what works for me, and it's what people have given me feedback about, that they really like the side-by-side comparison. Just because it shows the entire shirt, they get a complete 360 of what it would look like. So anyway, I'm going to turn this back around now that I've shown you some of my good and some of my bad photos. But anyway, I just really wanted to explain what branding was, because like I said, it took me 2 years to figure out what the heck that meant, and now that I know, it all makes sense. You want to be able to stand out when someone is scrolling through Poshmark looking to shop. You want your customers to say, oh look, there's Rachel, there's, you know, a new item that she's uploaded, just by looking at your photo. And another thing that helps with your sales that I have found out, just a little trick, is to list daily. The reason I say that is when people are scrolling through Poshmark, the stuff that has been uploaded that day and recently is what's showing up in the feed, because it's the just listed stuff. So I have a bad habit of listing all on one day, and then I take a few days off, and then I list all on one day again. Listing a few every day helps keep you in that feed, and it helps keep people seeing your items. So I've noticed, as far as sales go, that my sales are up when I'm posting daily. So if you can try to limit yourself and not post, like this weekend I had a business symposium for my cosmetology instructor's license. So I was in my office for like 10 hours one day and 6 hours the other day, and I just photographed and listed all day. And I really should have broken it apart and listed like 5 every day this week instead of 40 in one day, which is what I did. But it is what it is. Sometimes it's easier to listen to people to tell you what you're supposed to do than you actually doing it, but it does work. I'm telling you now that it does work if you list every day. Like I said, it keeps you refreshed and it keeps you in that feed. So I'd love to know your feedback. Let me know if some of this sounds familiar and if you kind of understand what I'm talking about, or if you have questions or comments, don't forget to comment below. Also, those of you that are watching, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and also there's a little bell, and that little bell will alert you when I am posting a new video. I do want to film in the future is going to be a shipping video for Mercari, because Mercari is a whole different ball game compared to Poshmark as far as the shipping goes. So please comment below if you guys would like to see that video, if you think that that might be helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.